Welcome out to BB&T Ballpark as we get ready for the Knights and the Syracuse Mets. Second game of the three-game series and game number 2 here on the 6-game homestand. Our next guest here in the Knight Celebrity Series played 12 years in the big leagues. He's from South Carolina, played with the Gamecocks. In fact, was on the team that went to the 77 College World Series. Everybody knows him from the 1986 World Series. Mookie Wilson joining us here at BB&T Ballpark. Welcome.
Diane, thank you for having me again.
Well, let's start the college years. Spartanburg Methodist for 2 years. Then you transferred to South Carolina, and you guys had that great run with the legendary coach June Raines. It was after Bobby Richardson had been there. But what do you remember from that 77 College World Series team, and how did that help you in your college career? Or in your pro career?
Actually, I don't think anything can help you prepare you for what's going to go through in pro ball. You go to the minor leagues, and it's culture shock, man. You're playing on nice fields in college, and you go to A-ball and pro ball, and it's just no fun. So it takes some getting used to, but the travel, I think, did help me a little bit. I was able to be away from home a little bit and got accustomed to that. But the actual playing, there's no comparison.
So you get drafted by the Mets out of South Carolina in '77, and a couple of years, and then finally you get your big league call-up with the Mets. What was it like playing in the minor leagues?
Now, the minor leagues is an interesting
it's a little bit different than it is now.
It's a little bit different now. Now I think it's just bearable. When I came up, and a lot of guys during my era, minor leagues was really, really tough. Long bus trips, and you played, and, driving 13 hours, and then go jumping on the field and playing clubhouses, some no showers, and you stayed in a hotel that had no air conditioning, that kind of stuff. But it was worth it, because I think it may have your appreciation for what guys go through now, what guys before us had to do to endure to play in the major leagues. And it's, when you got there, you knew you earned it. So it was good.
And what do you remember about that first time that you stepped on a big league field?
Oh, man. My first time big league field, I was in such awe. My first day in the big leagues was I played with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers, you had Steve Garvey, Ron Seed, Dusty Baker, Steve Yeager, all those guys across the. Now I've seen them on television, but all of a sudden now I'm playing against them. I was in such shock. I really don't remember anything about the game. I knew I didn't get a hit for the whole series. Yeah, I know that, but it was just Dodger Stadium. You don't get any better than that.
So you're coming into your heyday with the Mets in the mid '80s, and that team was loaded. I mean, we could talk about everybody on that team, from Darryl Strawberry, Doc Gooden, Keith Hernandez. Your buddy Rafael Santana was on that team. What was it like growing with those guys? Because they were young guys coming into '86, and you guys really, I wouldn't say surprised the world, because people knew you were going to be good, but you guys had such a great year with 108 wins that year. Yeah,
I don't think that we surprised people, because we were very, very good in '85. Yeah, and some people said we had a better club in '85. I think that we should have won it in '85 as well, but we had that other team over there in St. Louis that was pretty good at the time. Right. So you take it, but '86 was no surprise, and most of us on that team, we played with each other in the minor leagues. So we had that connection. We suffered the minor leagues together, so we really appreciate each other when we got to the major leagues. And we had some new guys added to the roster, like a Gary Carter, and Keith Hernandez and Rafael Santana. Those guys put us over the hump. And, I think that's the good thing about it. I think every successful club have to have that core, that nucleus there that has some togetherness, and that's what we had.
Everybody remembers the play. You hit the ground ball, it goes through Bill Buckner's legs. But before we get to that, you guys were down 5-3 going into that 10th inning. So just to get to the point where you came up to bat, a lot of things had to happen.
Yeah, a lot of things had to happen. Now, it's funny because people don't even remember all the stuff before that. Right. All they remember is the ground ball. Right. As a matter of fact, my whole career has been a ground ball. All 11 years don't count. It's just that one at bat, but a lot of things happen. A lot of moves made by management, a lot of questionable moves made by management. That people tend to forget about.
Because Bill Buckner generally wasn't in the game. Glenn Hoffman was in the game in late game situations.
No, but that's the way it had been going for a number of games. It wasn't like written in stone, but that's what had been happening. But you're up 2 runs with 2 outs. You can't complain about leaving a guy in a game, even if he's in a wheelchair. Come on. The pitcher had 2 strikes on 4 hitters and couldn't get him out.
That's right.
So I tell people, yes, we won the game, but it wasn't so much what the Mets did as what the Red Sox couldn't do, and what they failed to do, and it allowed us to pull it out. And like I said, the end of that, the climax of that was the ground ball.
Yeah, and you actually ended up having a pretty good relationship with Bill Buckner.
Oh, outstanding relationship. Bill and I, we started doing things together like in 1990, and the relationship just kind of just snowballed. We would call each other, 2 or 3 times a month, just talking, not necessarily baseball, talking about our families, talking about he was an outdoorsman, talking about his hunting, and I didn't know how much of a Christian he was until, and so I got to know Bill really, really well. What a great man! What a great man!
Well, enjoy your time here. I know the fans will be excited to get a chance to meet you and get some autographs and maybe a picture here and there. So thank you so much for coming out.
Well, thank you. I'm near home, so I'm in good hands right now.
That's an easy drive for Mookie Wilson. All right, we have more to come here on the Knights pregame show, getting ready for the Knights and the Syracuse Mets.